Tickzon mentorship scheme where we're trying to turn our hindsight into your foresight. My tongue and my brain are not in sync, but hopefully we're in sync today because we got something serious to talk about today. My name is Ugo and your name is Blessed, so hit the like button, just comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, share with your friends. But today we're going to talk about parents and independence, in Jupiter. When the dun 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 dun, when you don't use the lyrics, you remember one word, and then you forget everything. It is one of them ones. But I want to talk to you today about parents and independence, and for a lot of kids or people or young people or even grown people, in terms of gaining the independence from their parents, it seems like a struggle, and things seems like a mission that they are not necessarily in the process of winning. A lot of you guys feel like you're in a tyrant, in a dictatorship. You got all these random curfews coming in, partially coming from a place of love and safety and all that kind of stuff, but at the same time feeling like it's stifling you. They're making a lot of decisions for you, even as a grown individual, especially for the girl them out here. I'm not gonna lie to you, the man them still, but like the girl them on the side is depending on where you are, different aspects of life being controlled on a different level. But I want to talk to you about parents and independence, and how you have to understand that parents are really trash at giving you independence. So let me let you understand this. Mentoring somebody the other day, and they're talking about, I want to live my life and do all these kind of things. And the guy he's a pretty grown guy, he's not like 2 years younger than me, something like that. But he's like, oh yeah, but my parents will let me. And I'm like, yeah, your parents aren't the one that's stopping you. Look, the truth of the matter is, when it comes to your parents now, most kids were given independence by two virtues. One, that their parents were actually naturally very proactive in giving their kids independence from very young. So there are parents who are good at that, who are fostering that from early, and the other ones that were they gave their kids independence because of the circumstances. So you got independence because mom and dad were working bare, so you had to do the cleaning or cooking. Mom didn't want to go to the shop, so they sent you to the shop. You had to take care of siblings, or you had to take care of auntie or something like that, or you get your independence just by virtue. Okay, cool, you had to go to school's far away, I can't pick you up, so you came back home by yourself. Or I sent you away to a different. You get your independence via that, but it's not necessarily true independence. It's independence via convenience. So it's when they need you to do something like that, and they'll allow you to exert that independence because it's almost like they trust you to do that because you kind of had work experience in doing that. So, but in terms of becoming an adult, the thing is that your parents are very trash at giving you independence, because parents in the name are basically, you're a parent when you have kids, and parents are decent at raising kids, but parents are not good at, really turning their kids into adults. That's the reason why parents will typically look at you and be like, oh, my kid has now become an adult, because you have to take the initiative for you to be able to transition from being your parent's kid into being an adult that they would respect. It's literally that way. That's the reason why, as it stands now, your parents really treat you, they treat you as an adult or as a kid based on convenience. If it comes to matters that is like legal, financial, stuff like that, then you're not an adult. But if it comes to stuff that's kind of more social, boundaries, time, things they want you to do, then you become a kid, and that's how it is. But in terms of establishing that, it literally has to come from you. Now, in order for you to become an adult, the journey for you becoming a kid to an adult, or a young person to an adult, in terms of gaining your own independence, is literally by you saying that that's what you want and you fighting for that. Because the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter. I don't care who you are. You can have all your boundaries. You can have all the things you want, but it's your responsibility to uphold your boundaries, and it's my responsibility to uphold my boundaries. So in terms of going for independence and your parents respecting you, they're not going to give you that respect by virtue of your age, by the virtue of you've completed your degree, or by virtue of your XYZ. No, it's by virtue of your character and how much you assert yourself, or basically push back for that. And you have to understand, in that process of changing from a kid to an adult, you're going to get so much pushback, because most of our parents, when they feel like they're losing their kids, then they start, some of them go mad. They start going a bit over controlling. They start moving mad, like, why didn't you include me in that decision? They go, why did you come home late? They've not complained about your lateness in the last 3-4 years, but now they start to complain, you know, oh, you didn't consult me in this. It's because they feel that they're losing control of their kid, because yes, that's what should be happening. And you shouldn't actually necessarily be backtracking and now giving them that leeway to kind of enforce that control just to quote unquote keep peace, because you end up keeping yourself willingly in this scenario. But it's one of those ones, slowly but surely. I'm not telling you to go over there and just say, fuck you mom, fuck you dad. If you get slapped, you deserved it. But it's a case of which that you need to start slowly but surely asserting yourself and actually creating boundaries to say this X, Y, Z, and ultimately not like you have to demand it, but you do have to demand it. But you have to understand that your parents will always, the age gap is always there. They saw you at one point, you were on one hand like this, now you're there moving like a big man, chatting shit to their face. It be as it be, but you have to understand that for you to gain your independence as an adult, you have to fight for it yourself, and then nobody's going to save you but yourself. And the quicker you have to understand that, the quicker you understand that that's where your respect comes from, you being an adult, being able to fend for yourself and be able to, I know the power dynamic is there and stuff like that, but that's why your personal journey of having to overcome that is your journey. And ultimately for you to become that's why they say you become an adult. Your parents don't turn you into an adult. Your parents don't turn you to adult, and your parents are almost like the final boss. They're the final boss. You know, if there's a guy who's low-key like a mommy's boy or whatever, it's when he steps up and he tells his mom, I don't need you to do this, or mom, I don't want you to do this, and he starts fending for himself. That's when the mom stops worrying and stuff like that, because he's proven himself to be like, I can fend for myself. If not, then the next girl that comes over there be like, make sure you take care of him, make sure you take care of him, he likes his things cut this way. He hasn't set himself in those aspects of his life anyway to kind of gain that independence back from that side. So you have to understand that you have to almost have to prove yourself to yourself first, then to your parents, and they are the final boss that you have to overcome for you to now be standing toe and toe and be there having a conversation as if you're low-key equals, because that's the way you're going to, not equals in the sense of whatever, but in the sense that you have mutual respect to have a conversation, as opposed to what you could do 5, 10, 6, even 18 months ago, where you were just kind of this person out here who was just out here wishy-washy in this life. So basically, message of the video is, your parents are trash at giving you independence. They're not going to give you independence. You're going to have to take your independence by you pushing the boundaries and establishing your boundaries and fighting for it. And ultimately, yes, there'll be pushback because they'll always see you as a kid, but for them to see you as somebody who's not a kid, you have to be the one to establish that, yes, it's going to be long, yes, it's going to be stressful. No, they're not going to understand. They don't have to understand. It's up to you to, you know, fight that battle. And if you can't be asked to fight that, then understand the status quo as it stands will continue to be. So if you continue doing what you've continued to do, then things are never going to change, because that's insanity. That's the whole little thing about it. So in terms of you becoming an adult, you got to get over the final boss, especially for those of you who are coming back from university. Don't get twisted. You think you've gone to university, did 3-4 years, and before you didn't have independence before university, and you now come back, unless your job allows you to, or in between university, a lot of you guys will come back and it'll be like your parents will look at you as if you never left, even though you were going out at the time you were going out, and you're coming back whenever you wanted to. You know, for some of you, a lot of you, let's be honest, went to unis outside of, especially Londoners, you went to uni outside of London, outside of your town, just to run away from at home to gain independence. Your uni was work experience for your independence. Now when you come back home is where you really have to excel yourself about you getting independence. Now you can use excuses and other tactics to get it that way, but that's not what the scope of this video is. It's just telling you, let you understand the idea of how you go about getting your independence. So when you come back, they will treat you as a kid, because the way you left, now you're back in the house. Think status quo dynamics remain the same. Now if you're not changing the dynamics, then the results will remain the same. And so ultimately, this is your final boss on becoming an adult. So parents and independence, they are trash because they always see you as kids, and you know, when they start doing this mama bear, papa bear, I'm losing my kids kind of thing, they get even more controlling. That's them, that's their natural response to kind of be back to where they were comfortable and back where they were used to. It's not malice against you, it's just more a little bit of an insecurity kind of thing. That's the reason why you hear sometimes when people say, oh, a new kid saved my marriage, is because they were too used to having their kids. You know, imagine you were doing parents for like 18, 22, 25 years. You just can't just switch off and now automatically now your kids are telling you they're an adult and they can just live this life on their own. Especially if you were somebody that was very dependent on your kid and your parents. They've been giving you money till 2 weeks ago and now you want to tell them you're an adult. Come on, mate. So one of the first things you need to do is start making money for yourself, start making decisions for yourself, start fending for yourself and do all those things and start clawing away at the things, because if you're still dependent on your parents, then it's going to be hard for them to take you seriously as you just gaining this quote-unquote independence, unless you've reached the point where they're like, when would you marry, come off from my house or whatever. They're trying to get you out, then that's different. They'll push you out. They're not even giving you independence. You might not even be ready. You're a bit shook for this world, but it is what it is. But look, at some point you're gonna have to take the plunge and take the big old step, you know, and get out on these streets and live your life and yeah, fend for yourself as an individual. Welcome to life. Welcome to adulting. It's long, it's stressful, but just know that your parents will still be there when you need to call and cry a little bit, so don't get too stressed, too tough. But yeah, my name is Hugo, your name is blessed. Like, subscribe, comment, don't forget to invest in yourself, your health and your wealth, and do that to random kindness, because that's how we change the world. Bye.